Hello, I'd like to do a demonstration planting today for the Yucca rostrata. I've had people reach out to me and I always correspond or even talk on telephone with customers who buy from me. But I want to go ahead and do this visual demonstration to help everybody out. And today I want to plant the 4 different sizes that are available. I have the 3'6", the 3 foot, the 2'6", and I have a new size back here, the 2 foot. I've gone ahead and prepped all the soil. I've already made the holes out. Everybody knows how to dig a hole. It's just the main thing when you're planting is you don't want to plant these too deep. Plant them flush with the surface. Now when I say flush, right here is where you want to plant it, where the bottom of the leaves are. You don't want to be planting it up too high. This would cause rot right in here. You don't want to leave it sticking up out of the ground. So plant it right there, flush to the ground. Now, we dug these holes plenty big right here. And I say well-drained soils. That is important. Not so much here, but if you're living in Georgia or somewhere up in the Northeast where it gets a lot of rain, especially in the winter months, you do need some well-drained soil. Okay, we're going to plant this 3'6" rostrata. Straight into the ground here, taking care to make sure that we plant it flush and not too deep. The hole is big enough, we're good to go. So when it arrives to you, unwrap it out of the box. Do not unwrap it until you actually have it planted. It's a lot easier having these leaves folded up. But I'm going to go ahead and take off this cloth that we put down here to help keep the roots protected, keep them moist. And we ship our plants with as much roots as possible. This is really what you want. A lot of plants that you're buying off the internet, off Amazon and Etsy, you'll see that they'll just be selling a dried up stump here and all these tuberous root systems are gone. This is what you want, you really do. It's a good root system. After you pull your plant out of the box and before you're ready to actually put it in the ground, I recommend that you soak your plant in a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up with water and the appropriate amount of root stimulator. I like to use Super Thrive, but there's other brands out there that are just as good. I've already put the Super Thrive in here. And you just want to rehydrate your plant. It's been out of the soil now for about, by the time you get it, for 4 or 5 days. So just soak these roots. 10, 20 minutes, nothing more than that. And we'll plant that here in a minute. Okay, let's get this 3'6" Yucca rostrata into the ground. I think my hole is just deep enough for it. Yeah, it's gonna be about right. I might have to pull some soil back into it. I put some soil in there and I still pull it back up a little bit. When you're digging your hole, you want to put all your soil in one nice mound. I see people dig holes and they'll put some soil over here, then they'll put some soil on the other side, then they'll sling some dirt over here. It's a lot easier if you just mound it up in one spot, a lot cleaner. And if you're working with landscape gravel, or you have landscape gravel and you don't want to get it dirty, put down a tarp here first. Put all your dirt on top of the tarp. Okay, I've got this partially planted, and I can see it's just a little bit below grade, so I'm going to go ahead and lift this up. I'm using this T-post laid across the top to give me an idea where it would be level. So let's just work it back and forth, get it lifted up. Just a little bit more. Okay. Now that I have it flush, I've almost added enough soil to it. I still need to add a little bit more, but before I do that, I want to sprinkle some worm castings in here. With each planting, I'm going to be sending a little baggie of worm castings. This is, it's not a fertilizer, it's kind of like an organic compost tea. It'll help the plant stabilize and grow new roots. So just put that whole bag on there and just work it into that top soil just a little bit. There's your fingers. And let's go ahead and fill this up to level, and I want to create a water well here so that we can water it. Okay, I put up a little berm around the edge of the plant here to help hold the water. You got to be able to water it, at least here in the desert. I get about 8 to 12 inches a year here if I'm lucky. Some years we get more, some years less. But anyway, it helps to water these plants in. I'm going to use this water that I soaked the yucca in. It has the root stimulant in there. Let's go ahead and water it. And you want it to be able to hold 4 or 5 gallons of water. That's a nice watering. And I'll probably water this again here in a week, maybe 2 weeks. And for this one yucca here, I just want to show how to stabilize your yucca if you live in a windy area. I've had a few people with an issue of their yucca blowing over. It is top heavy, of course. So just a couple of T-posts or even maybe tent stakes, and just go around the edge or the outside of it and tie it up. Give it some stabilization. You can take these posts out maybe in about a month, 6 weeks. Let's go ahead and get these others planted right here, and we'll wrap this video up. Okay, I want to show planting on the mound for those of you who live in a high rainfall area. By planting on the mound, you can elevate the plant where it's out of the saturated soil. And it doesn't take much. You just need to get maybe 8 to 12 inches above the plain surface of your area, your landscape. And that'd make a world of difference. And you can add some sand to your soil, help for the drainage, or some coarse pea gravel. That would be really excellent. I don't recommend using a lot of organic matter. That tends to compost down and settle, which could cause your plant to subside into the soil a little bit. You don't want that happening. Okay, now that we have everything planted, the last step is to set your plant free. Let's just go ahead and cut these ropes off here. Release your plant. That's always so satisfying. So I did that 3'6", 3 foot. This is a 2'6", and this is the latest edition size. This is the 2 foot. We planted this one up on a mound. Just as show something a little bit different, in case you live, especially if you live in a high rainfall area. And there you have it. Hope this video helps you. If you have any questions, then you're always welcome to write me. I wanted to show you the 2 foot size planted inside of a pot. This is what a lot of people expressed interest in. This is just a cheap plastic pot. It's about a 5 to 7 gallon size. You can leave it in here for 3 or 4 years, no problem. Then you can plant it out in your yard if you wanted to after that. But this is a great plant. It's a great size to start with. It's great for the balcony or patio. One last tip. For watering plants that you really don't have much of a well on, where you can't put a volume of water of at least 4 gallons, just get a hose. Just do a little trickle of water. Put that at the base. Leave it on there for a good 2 or 3 hours. That's a good watering right there. It makes a big difference to having a nice specimen plant. I'll do that for a plant 3 to 5 times a year. It helps keep the plant looking healthy.